Well, good morning and happy Saturday. And I'm going to say a early happy Juneteenth to everyone. It is now a federal holiday. We have come a long, long ways. Greetings, everyone. And if you're tuning in this morning, do me a favor, click like and share. Click like and share. You don't want to miss this today. You want everybody to see this. We're going to talk about a few things and some important things. We're going to talk about those water lines, those service lines, and we're going to see where we at with this last Scripps interview where, we get some real journalism in here. We don't get a lot of investigative journalists here in Flint. So when we get them, we want to keep them. And Scripps keep coming back because they're holding folks accountable as they should. That's the part that I like. So we also going to talk about the budget votes. I was told that at a meeting yesterday that everyone voted unanimously yes for the budget. No, Tonya Burns did not vote for that, and two other people didn't. So we're gonna get into that budget. We're gonna also talk about ARPA. Some are now calling it ARPA Gate, the fleecing of the Flint ARPA funds. So we're gonna talk about some of these things because residents are not getting, we don't have done any home repairs. Saginaw has begun to do phase 1, 2, and I think going into 3. So we're going to talk about that, and if y'all didn't know, City Council is like Congress. We're on a hiatus, Mickey. We got some time off. We're like Congress, so we getting a break. That's the first time the city council has ever taken and voted to get a break in history. So some say I'm gonna take advantage of it. I didn't support the break because one, I wanted to make sure that we were taking care of the residents. It's not to delay getting some of those ARPA funds. Let's take care of the work. What to say, Mickey? Work hard, then play hard. Yeah. Work hard, play later. And I wanted to make sure we are taking care of the residents. So I always explain my votes, and my reasoning behind my votes are not for everyone. And let me give the disclaimer: all the views are the views of Tonya Burns and not of 8110 News Media Group. Mickey, how you doing?
I'm doing good today. How about yourself?
Mickey, that's all you got for everybody.
Yeah, well, happy Saturday, everybody.
Hey, listen, if you're just tuning in, support 81810 News Media Group. Click, like, and share. We are growing our platform. You know what, Mickey? I was up last night doing some reading. It's funny because you hear people say, Tonya Burns, you be up all night. I read at night. So when I stopped reading because I was going over some things, because I like to make sure my information is factual. I came across a TikTok group and, and it was a live TikTok group.
Right.
Oh, they killed me. They was like Tonya Burns using the burner phone. And I'm like, no, my niece set my TikTok up. She's 8. She told me I need to get my TikTok stuff together. But they really are into us. They were Politics Quez was in there, Jaquez was in there. A lot of the people, they're from all over Dallas, Texas. New Orleans, Georgia. They watch Flint City Council. They are invested. And it was interesting because I ran across that. I'm like, wait a minute. And they making comments. They know everybody.
Ain't that something?
Yeah, it is. I'm like, they know people by name. And I'm like, wow. And so I joined the conversation with my burner phone, which I do not have a burner phone, y'all.
Please explain.
Yes, I do not. Yeah, I did not set up my account. My 8-year-old niece that I brought with me to City Council, she set my TikTok. So my TikTok is
on jam. It's on fleek, as the young kids. It's on fleek.
It leaves a lot to be desired, Mickey.
Right.
I need to get the 8-year-old to finish setting me up. She's like, Aunt Tanya, you need to get your stuff together. I'm like, excuse me, London? She's like, wow. Seriously.
Oh, I remember. I did meet her.
You met London.
Yes.
And it was a good experience. She's from North Carolina. She lives in Charlotte, and she got to spend her days with Aunt Tanya. And, I like having kids in council chambers so they can see. And people may say, our government, how we run things are different. We ask too many questions, but some questions you need to ask, because some things are hidden in between that if you don't pick it apart, it slip right on through. Then they'd be like, well, when did that go through? How did that happen? So again, if you just now joining in, I want you to click like and share. We're going to begin with Scripps. Just did their latest article. People are still we missed 3 deadlines in the city of Flint to have our service lines replaced. So there are residents who are still living with lead service lines, and they have not had them excavated or checked. So June 30th is the next court hearing where in federal court that Flint will be facing a $500 a day fine if the lead lines are not complete by August 1st. And so if we don't have those lead lines complete, we could be facing a fine because they're holding NRDC is holding the city of Flint responsible as they should. Missing 3 deadlines is serious, and in the case, it holds the city of Flint, and it speaks directly to Mayor Sheldon Neely. So June 30th, Flint goes back to court for that. But Scripps was here. They finished another article. And if you do not have your lead lines changed, reach out to your council person to get the right directions so that you can get them taken care of. So this is going to be a follow-up with Hadia in some of the information. I want you to make sure, Scripps is a well-known, accredited, good journalism, fact-checking news source. So we're going to put it on before click, like, and share. But Mickey, let's play it.
The ACLU and the Natural Resources Defense Council are now citing our Scripps News investigation from this May as evidence as they ask a federal judge to install sanctions against the city of Flint and its mayor after they've missed deadline after deadline after court deadline.
Deadlines were set and deadlines were missed. I admit to that, right? Some could be contributed to me and some could be contributed to other pieces, right?
Those words by Flint Mayor Sheldon Neely were aired in a Scripps News investigation in May, and some of them are now being cited in court documents asking a federal judge to find the city and its mayor in contempt of court after they say the city missed yet another deadline. The court motion also asks the judge to issue a daily fine of $500 paid jointly by the city and its mayor in his official capacity until Flint complies with its court-ordered deadlines to identify the full scope of its remaining work to replace lead drinking water pipes across the city. Scripps News reported this past May how nearly a decade after the Flint water crisis began, thousands of residents may still need their drinking water pipes inspected for toxic lead and other health hazards.
So what's the number overall that needs to still be completed?
Well, those numbers are elusive to say. I don't want to be nailed down to actually giving a particular number.
In an April interview with Scripps News, Flint Mayor Sheldon Neely, who took over the city 3.5 years ago, repeatedly declined to share how many homes still need to be inspected for potentially toxic water pipes.
You want me to give you a number?
1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000.
I give you percentages. More than 90% of this process has been completed.
More than 90% complete is also exactly where the city said it stood in this press release that we found from August of 2020, nearly 3 years ago. Our own Scripps News analysis showed the work on Flint's pipes in recent years has slowed to a crawl.
Now that we're getting down to the last few lines, they're very difficult to find those lines because we're so close to the finishing point.
But we told Neely about 7 different Flint residents who we discovered had repeatedly contacted the city, but are still waiting to get contractors out to their homes after all these years, including Adia McCullough. She told us that her 7-year-old son, Robbie, has had to drink bottled water his entire life while they wait for the city to dig underground and inspect their water lines.
They came and spray painted the pipeline and they put little flags. And then they left and they never did the work. It feels like you don't matter. It feels like the world just keeps going on. And you keep going on. But everyone here is not important enough.
This woman's name is Adia.
After we told the mayor about Adia and gave the city her address and phone number in late April, he pledged to do something about it.
Now I know her name. Now that you're bringing it to me, I will send a team out.
We asked the mayor how long residents like Adia should have to wait for a team to assess their homes.
Going forward from today, how long should they have to wait before someone from the city either shows up at their house or actually starts excavation.
But once that call comes in and then we catalog that call, I would assume no more than 2 weeks before they can see some level of action. And thank you on behalf of Adina that you brought to our attention. And definitely we will be reaching out to her.
But more than a month later, we went back to Flint and visited Adia on her front porch.
No action still.
Has the city called you to set up an appointment?
No,
You've seen no action.
none.
And as Flint residents like Adia remain in limbo, we found another issue. On our visit this past April, the main phone line the city tells residents to use to call to get the let out was not working.
The user's mailbox is not available at this time. Thank you. Goodbye.
When we told the city, a spokesperson promised a permanent fix. But a month later, when we sat with Tonya Burns, the Flint City Council member who represents Adia McCullough's neighborhood, we watched what happened when she tried to call.
The user's mailbox is not available at this time.
This is the one line. If no other line works at City Hall, that line should be working. There's no excuse for that. There's none.
Councilmember Burns told us she's become skeptical of the mayor's ability to get the job done and worries his leadership is alienating key members of the Flint city government, including the Department of Public Works, or DPW, which oversees the water system.
There's a lot of water pipes that need to get looked at in this city. Does the city have someone in charge of the Department of Public Works?
We currently do not have a DPW director.
What happened to him?
He quit. He left March 17th.
Mayor Neely has yet to fill that position. The mayor initially offered a follow-up interview with Scripps News, but after we raised what we'd learned since our last visit, a spokesperson emailed a statement instead, writing, "The city is trying to hire a new public works director and is inquiring as to why the phone line is not working consistently." The city also committed to finishing all of its remaining work by the latest court-ordered deadline of August 1st. Meanwhile, residents like Adia McCullough continue to use bottled water each day as her skepticism about more promises coming from the city grows.
Honestly, I don't even have words for it anymore. Someone that's comfortable with letting people live like this, they're not going to hear someone like me anyway. Their lives are okay. They're succeeding. They're safe. What about everybody else?
Now, the city responded in court to that attempt to hold the city and the mayor in contempt of court, saying that this request is wholly without merit, and they said that it never should have singled out the mayor, Sheldon Neely. Also, we went back to Sheldon Neely again to tell him about Adia McCullough's case. And I can tell you that as of right now, in a major twist, Ms. McCullough is telling us that this week she's finally seen a contractor show up on her door ready to inspect her drinking water pipes. Mark Greenblatt, Scripps News in Washington.
Well, there you have it. Again, if you do not know if your lead lines have been changed, or if you don't, or if you need them changed, call that number and call your council person. But don't y'all depend on that number, because that number does not always work. How many people have called that number and just gave up? Do we actually have factual numbers, or is it a possibility we can have factual numbers when the phone line is still not working 6, 7, 8 weeks later? See, that's the problem. We have accountability. Who are we holding accountable? We're 9 years later. We're still at 90. When we've been at 90% since 2019. That's a long time. Still giving percentages. We should have actual numbers. Actual numbers. We have got 2014 service lines to repair. We had 412 residents that we cannot make contact with. Here's the problem. We don't have those type of numbers. And this is the second time Scripps has not been willing to give those numbers. Flint residents deserve that. First of all, you didn't get paid for the water crisis. That lawsuit, people have not gotten that money. And people thought that lawsuit, you divvying that money up. There is no real money coming to people. Asking, when we get the lawsuit money? I don't know. We don't do that. I can't respond to that. You poison the whole city and everybody gets off. Nobody is held accountable. Where else in the world besides Flint we don't hold anybody responsible? A whole city was poisoned, an entire city. We look at now project managers. We again have no DPW director. Well, I take that back. If Clyde is technically the DPW director again, after Rob Benzick quit, after Mike Brown quit, and it defaults back to the city administrator. So he's the city administrator, he's the DPW director. Oh, wait a minute. Mrs. Lottie Ferguson quit. She was the chief resilience officer. So he's now the chief resilient officer. He's the economic development director. And I'm missing some other ones. But the thing is, when I think our list, it was like 30 something people in key positions had quit and left. We are bleeding talent in Flint. Bleeding talent in Flint. Because they're having difficulty working with this administration. This administration is not transparent. They're not transparent. Mayor Neely ran on being truthful and transparent. He is minus both of those. In a meeting at Glendale Hills, this past, I think Thursday, in a meeting, Glendale Hills is in the 6th Ward. And he actually stated that he passed the budget unanimously and that all council members voted for that budget.
Was you there?
Yeah.
When he said that, I'm just saying,
Mickey, I was so I was just, it's funny because people started like turning around because I was sitting toward like the back of the room and looking at me because people knew and had watched 810 News Media Group and knew I wasn't voting for that budget because we missed our deadline and those questions hadn't been asked. Let me repeat again. Tonya Burns did not vote for that budget. That vote was 5 yes, 3 no, 1 absent. So that is not unanimous would mean 9. That didn't happen. That simply didn't happen. I was like, is he really doing this? I'm like, I'm here. I didn't vote for that. And that to me, I mean, don't tell a lie that you can prove. That was a provable one. I mean, and it's in our minutes. And I think on that, Councilman Pfeiffer was the deciding vote to pass that budget. But that budget did not pass unanimously. Then the day after, this week, Councilman Murphy and some other my colleagues were stating, hey, we wanted those answers. My reason for not, number one, if you can put that, we can put that up on the screen. I had 12 reasons why I didn't vote for that budget. And if we did not get those questions answered beforehand, it would take away our leverage. And I understood that. And guess what? They are not going to answer those questions. And they didn't. And Councilman Murphy said, I wouldn't have voted for that budget if I had known y'all didn't know what you paying for these 2 deputies. Well, that's why I voted no. You have to, there should have been answers. We shouldn't have had to have asked. It should have been presented in the packet with our new planning director. I want to say welcome Emily Dorr to the city of Flint. She is the new planning director, but we need clear transparency. And it's not her. This was with the administration. But I take that back. I did just get, I do believe it was emailed to me. I have not had a chance. I got it, I think, today. I got it Thursday or Friday. I got it Friday. So when we talk about that vote, here are my main concerns. Number one, the WIN funds. I've been asking for WIN funds since 2000, maybe 2019. I've lost count. And you can't get a concrete answer. Number two, service line replacements. How many service lines do we have left to replace? A percentage is not a number. That is not a numerical number. That is a percentage. This is an exact, you should have an exact number. Number three, no one knows how much we owe W.T. Stevens and where does that almost $1 million fall out in that budget? The $426 million, I'm going to say plus pension liability. Last year was only funded at 26%. We needed $220 million so that it would be funded at 60%. It has not been to date. It has not been put in. I think she applied almost 2 weeks ago now. No, 10 days ago or something like that, just recently. We thought that money was in the bank. We thought it was in the city coffers. We were led to believe that it's not. Waiting for it to get there. Number 4 was the witness protection program and upgrades to the which is my question, which I still haven't had a chance to ask Chief Green. Upgrades to the ladies' locker room, which hasn't had any upgrades since the 60s, since it was actually put in there. I want to know where are we at with that. The budget presented was for 1 year per city charter, which is a charter violation as far as I'm concerned. They only gave us a budget for 1 year. Our acting or interim CFO Jane did state it was 1 year. That budget presented was 1 year. Last year they gave a 2-year budget as per the charter. This year they said, "Oh, we're gonna slide that right on through." They're gonna pass the budget. We don't have to comply to the charter requirements. We're going to make the charter. I don't know. They're tweaking it for themselves. We got a 1-year budget, should have been 2. The planning director, her contract, we wanted and needed to know how are we funding and where's in the budget for the 2 deputies for her. She is going to have a lot. Just show us all the things. Just show us how are we funding that. Number 7, all budgets should be presented at budget time. They were not. We did not get that. Now we know the DDA budget was not in there. We did not have the grants budget. And we do not have the ARPA budget. It's not in there. Number 8, the ARPA funds balance. This has got to be the most elusive balance that they will not share. Listen, how much is in the ARPA funds? Just like going to your bank account. You know what's in there. You know how much has been spent. They will not tell or say how much is in the ARPA funds. What's left? What has it been spent on? That's the people's money. Y'all better start coming down there because look, when people don't answer questions, I get leery. Number 9, revenue loss, COVID-19. We haven't found out yet. 10, grants budget. Salaries are coming from grants. They did state that some salaries are coming from grants partially, but I think the answer is, well, some are coming from this. No, this isn't this, guessing game. We should know this is budget time. The marijuana revenue, we never got that. Then number 12 was the DDA. We do now know that the DDA's budget, we are responsible, and we never got their budget presented to us. So for those reasons, I did not vote for the budget because I know how it is to live through a hard time where you have to tighten your belt straps and you have to budget. And I've lived through that, and thank God I survived that. And I'm looking at this budget, and it's too many. This is the people's money. This is budget time. We should have those answers. And because we didn't have those answers, I voted no. And so did 2 other people. There were 3 no's, 5 yeses, and 1 council member in the 9th ward. She was absent from the vote. So we we're gonna go on to the next one. We're gonna talk about them ARPA funds because ARPA was in that's part of the budget. So I've always said, looking at that money, we are off on a hiatus. City council is. So I would have liked to have did some work for ARPA to get the residents some funds to get that going. Residents are continuously asking. Yep, if you can put that up, thank you. And so we have this is on the city website. It says meet the ARPA committee and meet the ARPA community advisory committee. Now y'all pay attention to this name. Meet the ARPA community advisory committee, because we're gonna get into this. So people know I like to read. I love a library. And so what I learned was our ARPA advisory committee has been meeting at the Flint Public Library. They've had several meetings, and That's of concern to me because I had questions in regards to, is this committee legally set up? Are they abiding by the Flint City Charter? And I've got some very serious concerns about this. I did ask for a legal opinion. And then I also had, which was surprisingly, um, I have two good friends who are attorneys who are giving their independent legal opinions, and so I'll be sharing those. Not today. We're gonna get that one. We may have to do a special meeting for that one, so a special show. So meet the ARPA Community Advisory Committee. So again, they're the ones, they're making the decisions. We did not select any of these people, and I don't know any of these people. They could be perfectly great people. I've told the person that's in my ward is a nice person. I don't know him. I am going to reach out to him. But this is our ARPA advisory committee. No council member pick their person. Normally, how it is done, and I'm going to read it per the charter. Anytime you have a multi-member board committee, what happens is the mayor is to present it to the city council by resolution. They give resumes and the city council votes on it. Charter is very clear. The Flint City Charter that was adopted, which my charter is just like bad, Mickey, because I write all over my charter. Flint City Charter. It is the Flint City Charter is very clear when it speaks to that. And so the concern was, if they're meeting at the Flint Public Library, not meeting on city property, the Flint Public Library is absolutely gorgeous. And I believe they're having food. They're feeding them or having food catered for them, which is nice if you're doing it. But this is not a committee we selected. This is, they say, oh, no, this is transparent. No, it's not transparent. How is it transparent when you didn't talk to the council members in that ward when you are putting and placing these people in place? How is it transparent? It's not. And the charter. So I'm going to start with this. It's 5 sheets. Multi-member body. Can you put those up? Because I don't want nobody to say Tonya Burns made this up. Absolutely did not make this up. Please know that I have sought legal advice also on this. This is not my interpretation, and I know we have some intelligent, smart folks out here who can comprehend, because it's basic. It's basic. So there's going to be no problem. Not that one.
Which one? Hold up, I think I got it.
It's going to be 4 slides. Image, multi-member body.
This one.
Yeah, but it's a couple. Yeah,
Hold up, I know it's
it is that multi-member body where we have the images.
right here.
Nope, it was the other one with the red on it. Nope.
I messed that up. I got you.
It's the one that it looks like this, and it'll say it's got the pics on that. You had it. It says multi-member body, and it's got images. Yep. So you might, does it scroll the other way? Because I'm going to give you the definite. And listen, y'all be patient with us. We having a little bit of, we getting it together, but we bringing you facts. I'll wait for something to make sure it's factual. This is coming from the city charter that was adopted by a vote of the residents of the city of Flint. It was passed. The only way to change the charter is to put it before a vote to the residents. Yep, I need the one. You got it. Only way to change the charter is unless you take it before a vote before the residents of the city of Flint. That's the only way to do it. This is our charter. We're bound by the city. We're supposed to be bound by the city charter. I think what they call it, freestyling. I think they freestyling the Flint City Charter. So multi-member body, and I'm going to read. This is not my definition. This is on page 5 of the Flint City Charter. You can Google it. You can go to the city of Flint, and it states what a multi-member body. Because I'm going to set this up for you. It says a multi-member body means any board, commission, ad hoc committee, advisory committee. And what's the name of the ARPA? It's ARPA Advisory Committee. and any group, however designated, composed of more than one person. ARPA committee has 12, and acting or purporting to act in the exercise of official duties. The city council is not a multi-member body. Okay, so in the ARPA committee, it states in their advisory, it's the ARPA advisory committee. So can we go to the next slide? Okay, no worries. Is that page 6?
No, yeah, that's page. No, that's 56.
56. Okay.
You on page 6?
No, I need to go. This I need to turn to my charter. My charter is, you know what? I think I need to have next. Yeah, I need to have my charter laminated because I need to have mine laminated. Oh, you know what I did? I put it on my iPad. So it'll be easier for me. Thank you, Mickey. So at the top, it states Article 6, multi-member bodies. The Flint City Charter has a whole section on multi-member bodies, so it's very clear. So it states 6-101A, multi-member bodies including boards, commissions, and committees may be established by the city of Flint by ordinance or resolution. They did not come to us by an ordinance or resolution. There was no ordinance and no resolution. Such bodies may exercise those powers and duties granted by the city of Flint, provided they do not conflict with provisions of the charter of the state law. So they're supposed to come, that multi-member body, which multi-member body, they're more than one, they're 12. The only way to come is by ordinance or resolution. I didn't make that up. Multi-member bodies, including boards and commission established in this charter, are created after the effective date of this charter shall be subject to the following otherwise provisions in this charter. So I'm going to skip over that part because the rest of that goes into it. So let's go to the next slide. Now, this is a whole section of Flint City Charter. This is not my word. This is the Flint City Charter. Number 8, every multi-member body shall comply with the Open Meetings Act, 1976, as amended. These draft, as amended, and file its draft minutes with the city clerk within 8 business days, is required by state law. These draft minutes shall be available for public inspection and on the City of Flint's website. Once the draft minutes are approved, they shall be filed with the city clerk's office within 5 business days and posted on the city website. Well, here's the whole thing. They don't post meetings. Their meetings are not open. They are not open. This is a multi-member body. There's more than one person. There are 12 people. It did not come to us by ordinance or by resolution. Every member shall comply with the Open Meetings Act. Open Meetings Act, state law. So this is not my interpretation. You can Google the document, you can go to City of Flint website. You're also supposed to post meetings. Open Meetings Act means that they are open to the public. These meetings are not posted and they're not open. So if they're making decisions about money, it's not posted and it's not open. There's zero transparency. There's a whole section speaking to how these meetings should be done. Let's go to the next section, section 6-104. Meetings. All meetings of multi-member bodies of the city of Flint, including boards and commissions, call for purposes of discussing business within the jurisdiction of the body, and all gatherings of a quorum or more members of the body of which business within the jurisdiction of the body is discussed shall be public unless otherwise authorized by law. There is no law stating that they should not be public. This is per the charter. They're supposed to come to us by ordinance and this is supposed to be a meeting. Public notice shall be given in the manner provided by the statute for meetings of public bodies. Every multi-member body shall comply with state law, including the Open Meetings Act. Again, every. It doesn't say an exception to our advisory committee because the name is in it. Advisory committee. They are advising on how to spend the ARPA funds. Okay, so as it states, every multi-member body shall comply with state law, including the Open Meetings Act. They're not posted, they're not open. The public is supposed to be able to have the opportunity when they're meeting at the lovely Flint Public Library, which I absolutely love. The public should be invited. It's supposed to be posted. It's required by state law and by our city charter. This is not happening. So when people complain about, that's my last slide for that one. When we talk about almost $1 billion came here before and none of it went to the residents, and they were called the fleecing of Flint. This meeting is not open. It's supposed to be open. It's a multi-member body, 12 members. It's supposed to come to council, any board. It's supposed to come up by ordinance, resolution, or ordinance. It wasn't done. Meetings are supposed to be public and open. Minutes are supposed to be taken. None of that is happening. None of it is happening. So I have a problem. And I'm going to tell you, if I was on that board, I would not be a part of this because this is in our charter. This is in our charter. And you can't say, and what business are they doing? They are conducting the business that affects the city of Flint. ARPA funds were deposited first May 19th, 2021 into the city of Flint coffers. The next one came May 2022. They're doing the business for the city of Flint. The charter is very clear. It's very clear. They're doing the business and they're meeting secretly. They're meeting secret. There's no postings. Council doesn't know where they're meeting. The public doesn't know. Public should have access so you can sit in. It's like when we have our meetings, you can videotape, you can record, you have time for public speaking. You have to have minutes. None of this is done. They're not meeting for something other than the city business. They're put together for Flint's ARPA funds. And in the headlines, they are the ARPA Advisory Committee. So, we have to be careful. Mickey, how are we doing on our time? That's it.
When you're telling the truth, it goes.
Oh, Mickey, yeah, that went. Oh, listen, people, I just want y'all to understand that how important this is. So we're gonna go on to listen. Y'all need to contact this is actually a violation. You need to contact the Attorney General. You need to contact the Attorney General because this is a violation of the Open Meetings Act. And our charter. And I've had some people, and I got another, this legal opinion. I'm gonna share it. And I did get a legal opinion from the city attorney. And I'm reading the charter. You take your own. I'm not comfortable with this. That meeting is imposed that they are meeting to do the business of the city of Flint. These are funds that are deposited into the city of Flint. These are not private funds. They're not private. Not at all. I want to give it to my colleague, Councilman Pfeiffer, who came on, and we're going to switch gears. He came and did the show with Winters Hall, and he was very open. It's very rare that, me and Councilman Pfeiffer, we discuss things, and we may not always agree, but we're always cordial when, doing, and discussing business. I would say when it comes to public safety, I think we are 100% with each other, but actually we want more for public safety. And, that part, we may be 95%. I think Pfeiffer is a little bit harder, than I am, but that may just because I'm a woman, I guess. I don't know. But he, I appreciate him coming on and doing that interview, and he, with Winters and being open. It's hard to come into, when you're put on the spot to answer those questions. And he did it. He got in the hot seat and he answered the tough questions. And I appreciate him for coming in and doing that and being honest and transparent. he talked about how do we get the council together, and his word was disdain. They have disdain for each other, and there's a lot of it on there. And I like that he was, he gave his opinion, and there is some disdain between some council members, and it will never, I don't think, ever be able to patch it. I have thought we needed team building. I had emailed Councilwoman Herker before she resigned, January the 24th, and said, "Hey, I'd like to meet with you." I spoke to her maybe 2 or 3 months before then. I didn't know what she was going through, what she stated in her article. But my meeting with her was to see how can we bring this council together. She did give her resignation, which will be effective July 1st. I wish her well in her future and what she's doing. I think she's in a job that she loves and she will excel. But when we talk about how to, the culture of our council, it's something to be desired. So when we talk about some of the spirits and how do you get along, I had yesterday, Mickey, some people, a married couple called me from Alabama. They called me from Alabama. And I'm like, how did y'all get my number? And they said, look, and they said, look, Mrs. Miss Burns, we need you to know that during that last meeting, Councilwoman Eva Worthing gave y'all the finger. So I don't know. I don't know if she was giving it to me or Dennis, because she's given it to us before. Normally Paul never catches it when she does that, but she gave us the finger. So Mickey, play that video, please. All the way from Alabama. They saw it and sent it.
One motion at a time, and let's not get too fancy here.
Okay, point of order is.
Madam Chair?
So, let's see, there's a substitute motion, it's been.
Probably should be amended.
It should be amended.
It's an
amended.
amended
Yeah,
motion.
it should be amended motion.
It's a motion to amend. So it turned into a point one.
All right, there is an amended motion.
Point of order.
What is your point?
Madam Chair, without me being
You got a
a
full screen.
stickler, when I make a point of order, you
Yeah,
rule
leave
on
full
that.
screen so they can see that.
And I didn't hear you rule on it. You were really saying nothing, and then
Point of
people
order.
start talking.
It's a simple, just state the rule and then be silent. Jesus.
Thank you, Ms. Word.
Point of order, Madam
So-
Chair.
What is your point, Mr.
Before
Mayor?
Ms. Worthing interrupted me, I was simply saying that the chair must rule on that point of order, because I did
There's
it
no
before
because,
somebody made
Madam
a
Chair.
second. Now, you can warn her,
Ms.
because
Word,
if
Ms.
my
Word-
black butt say something,
Mr. Mays. Ms. Worthing, you do not have the floor.
No, but I had a point of order,
Mr. Mays.
of which
So,
it's not been ruled on yet.
1 second, we have a point of order with Mr. Mays. Mr.
Yeah, but
Mays-
that was after my point of order, was it not?
oh, point of order, you're not gonna warn her, feisty butt?
So, Mr. Mays, your point of order is denied. Moving on to Ms. Worthing's point of order. Ms. Worthing, your point of order was, just want to be clear.
It's just, he's taking the floor.
I appeal the
To
ruling
just-
of the chair on mine.
There has been appeal of the, ruling of the chair. Is there a second? Is there a second?
Madam Chair, I second.
Okay.
Well, there
yeah.
was two, me and Councilman Pfeiffer about at the same time.
Okay, so it has been approved and seconded. So, all right, so go ahead, Mr. Mayor.
Madam Chair, let me say this. Some of this stuff we shouldn't even waste time on. I did a point of order.
Say it again.
Well, all the way from Alabama to the mayor, I would not give their names, but the first initials R and D. Thank you for sharing that. She flipped me and Councilman Pfeiffer did second Councilman Mays's appeal. Both of us did at the same time, and then she flipped us the FU finger. So all of from Alabama. That's conduct of becoming of a council person. And this is the type of behavior we deal with all the time. And she'll say, I'm threatening the victim. No, her behavior is deplorable. let's go on to the next one. I need you to go to
Let me get it for you.
I'm sorry, at the 3 minute and 46 second.
Let me find which one was that one.
This one is going to be
Is it this
nope,
one? Not that one.
nope.
I got you.
This one is the video with the council meeting.
I'm trying to find
Um,
which one is it. This ain't, it ain't this one, is it? No, that ain't.
nope.
That one.
This one's going to be YouTube.
YouTube.
Did I send it to you?
No, I don't got it.
I thought I sent that to you.
Yeah, no. I
Go
ain't got
go
that.
back down. I didn't send that one to you.
Nope, I ain't get that one. I got the.
Did it go to your spam mail?
Let me see. I feel like resending it, and I can go to.
Yeah, because this one is really important because it was at the 3 minute. I texted to your phone, and that's why.
Okay, yeah, I need to send.
You know, and I did that. But this is because people, and this is not. I don't want people to take my word for it. You know, I want people to this is what actually happened. I'm not making this stuff up. When we talk about behavior, you know, some of the things that we endure it's unbelievable. And then she'll play the victim role, passive aggressive. She is the aggressor, but let's go ahead. Okay, let me send this. Let me send it to you. Okay. It should be popping into you, and just you got to refresh. Okay. And so it's at the 3 minute and I did send you that, didn't it? 3 minute, 3 hour, not 3 minute, 3 hour and 46 minute mark. Now this is what happened. I had noticed, and I got up out my seat. This was during the council meeting. Councilwoman Worthy had gotten up out of her seat 3 hour and 46 minute. She had gotten up out of her seat, exited, flipped Councilman Mays the bird that time, and told him "F you." After she did that, um, Jasmine Stanley had stated she was in the audience, and people don't know Jasmine Stanley is former Mayor Woodrow Stanley's daughter. She's a pillar of our community. I'm happy to have her here. She's so very engaged. Her and her mother, and her sister Heather. I mean, they still care about this community. So, what she did was get up at this time when Councilwoman Worthy got up out of her seat, walked by Jasmine. Jasmine said, "I just saw what you did." What she did was flip Councilman Mays the finger again, and she says, "Are you proud of yourself? Why did you do that?" And she hit Jasmine and then left. I got up to check Jasmine. She hit her on her shoulder. She hit her with her right hand. And I walked over to got my seat and went and checked her. This was right before, probably maybe 2 weeks before the unfortunate timely death of Commissioner B.B. Nolden, who served his community well. BB called me, Commissioner Nolden called me over.
So I'd like next time.
So did Justice Thigpen and Michael Davis. They said, Tonya, did you see what she did? So everyone saw her hit Jasmine. And I said, yes, I saw. I said, she's okay. The officer came over to speak to her. Jasmine declined to press charges, but she's still going through a lot, her and her family, with the grief of her father. And I definitely respect that. The problem is Eva Worthing's behavior continues to escalate. When it goes unchecked and you aren't held accountable, it has continued to escalate. So she came to the podium to speak. So listen to what she had to say.
Leadership.
And you picked the right one.
Is it on?
Because there was,
listen,
first of all, her behavior, she was flipping off her fellow city council member, Eric Mays. And I said to her, "Are you proud of your behavior?" Because she was smiling. I considered bringing my 2 teenage daughters to this meeting. I asked them, did they want to come? They said, no, the meeting's too long. We have other things we want to do. And I'm glad that I didn't bring them, because they would have saw that behavior and thought that that was an acceptable behavior. I've been unfriended by city council members that I went to high school with. I mean, it's ridiculous, the personal nature that you all are taking on something that's not personal. You're all elected to do a job, whatever that is, for the residents of your ward and of this city. And I am so disappointed. I thought it ironic, though, as I sat in my seat, that you read the reading of disorderly person city code subsection. You read it at every meeting. I normally just watch on YouTube. I said I'm going to come in person today. Ms. Worthing should be removed from this meeting. And if you all want to act as a body that wants to, because if that was any other person, specifically if that was Mr. Mays, if that was Tonya Burns, councilperson and councilman, I'm sorry, to be respectful of both of you in your position. If that was them, Councilwoman Winfrey Carter, if that was probably anyone else, probably be removed from the office. Not from the office, but from the meeting. It's unacceptable behavior. I doubt the residents of the 9th Ward would find that to be respectful behavior or something that they want their council person to do. Unwanted touching is unwanted touching. I know, my time is up. But the other thing that I want you to say is and this is just one last thing, is that she has a clear problem with African-American women. And she might have just thought I was ghetto. I don't know.
Okay, now, am I back on? Now, I want you to pay attention because that took a lot for Jasmine to come up there. And Mickey's going to set it up. We're going to hear Councilwoman Either Worthing's response as she blames and tells the flagrant and blatant lie that Jasmine hit her. She turned the tables and said Jasmine hit her when the whole room of people, now Commissioner Nolden, Justice Thigpen, Michael Davis, Councilman Jerry, everybody in the auditorium saw this. She turned around and blamed the victim that she victimized. It's like right after Arthur Woodson speaks. I believe she's the first person to speak right after Woodson. So it was 3 minute and was it 3:46? She's like 3:59. I'm sorry, like 3:50.
Council members will retain their decorum. Ms. Winfrey Carter.
So why
has
was
the
it
floor.
important for her to take her camera?
Yeah, go.
Like it's nothing. Instead of
Jasmine that I know,
6 May 56.
Higgin, Kate Fields,
I think
it's all the same crowd. And Ms. Herkenroth, as I wrap up, you got a habit of condoning their behavior and treating us differently than you do them. And I'm gonna make a point of the discrimination and different treatment.
Thank you, Mr. Mays. Is there any other member of council who wishes to respond?
Yes,
Go ahead.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
You know, first, let me just say this. First, I would like to thank all of the speakers.
5 who was in committee when I first
That will take a report and they will handle.
copy of
And I'm gonna make a point of the discrimination.
Council members will retain.
Are creating a scene. So no, that did not happen. And
who have come forth of all ways. I'm gonna say it loud. Yes, I'm black and I'm proud.
I wasn't
And act like.
about this
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other member?
The rhetoric that's happening tonight is no surprise. It is right on par with everything else that has happened. I did not touch anyone. In fact, I leaned over and she hit me. So thank God for witnesses, because there were. And so I am not going to be lied on, and I don't appreciate other council people right now. Yeah, you have a problem all the time about others doing and saying things, and here you are creating a scene. So no, that did not happen. And I'm sorry that it was made into a thing, but I normally don't comment, but I'm not going to allow that to be said about me when it was not true. And that's just the facts. Thank you.
A clear pattern here. We're seeing a very clear pattern. She turned around and blamed the person and said, she hit me. That is a lie. That is a lie. She did not hit her in front of a room full of people. It did not happen. You had the victim up there, the person that she hit, and stepped to the podium. Now we know that she's an aggressive person, and she says, well, because of the abuse that she suffered for 5 years. We weren't on the council. Right now, you're abusing us. And if you need therapy, she needs to go to therapy then. We know about when they made it into a TikTok. I didn't send the TikTok. Okay. Everyone knows about. Let's go back to the put up the Metro Times comment. The Metro Times comment where she put up where she called council ghetto. She uses microaggression terms towards Black people. She makes negative remarks towards the Black culture. She has a problem with African American women, and she teaches Black children. She stood up over me and said, come on, let's fight. You had air and opportunity. You hit someone who was in the audience. And according to subcode section 31-10, that's assault and battery. She should have been arrested. She should have been thanking Jasmine for not pressing charges instead of lying on her. So this headline states, ghetto remark by Flint councilwoman prompts thorough investigation by school where she teaches. She says just anything she wants. The behavior continues to escalate and escalate because it doesn't change. She stood up, and if I had fell into that, when she said, come over here, she pushed her chair back. First thing they would have said, Tonya Burns is an angry Black woman. Look at her. She's an angry Black woman. She stood up and just wanted a confrontation. Didn't step forward, stumped her foot. But I would have been an angry Black woman. And then you know what she said? She threatened me. She threatened me. She threatened me. I never got up out of my seat purposely. Now, she had got in my space. It would have been a whole different issue. But she was two people between. And she said, I threatened her. I did not threaten her. It was a lie. Everything was on videotape. It was a complete lie. She's a liar. She lies. She's becoming a chronic, habitual, pathological liar. A habitual, pathological, chronic liar. The videotapes don't lie. So when we talk about when Councilman Pfeiffer was saying, can we all get along? And the disdain, we shouldn't have to put up with people hitting us, calling us names. She's called people narcissistic assholes. She's actually called me one, Pfeiffer one, Mays one. I don't know if she's called Councilwoman Jerry Winfrey Carter one. And the city attorney was right there, and he was floored when she said it because I wasn't even I wasn't even saying it. Council hadn't even started. And she just walked by and said, you can't do anything. So I'm going to close out with y'all. Y'all have we can get into this. I want y'all to have a happy Juneteenth. As Mickey said, peace, grease, and hair grease, and sending much love. Enjoy y'all Saturday